Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. Y'all, today we have Kaley Decker with us, and she's going to be speaking about stepping into her radiant beingness on today, 11/11,
Mm.
auspicious day. And the way that Kaley shares in her transmission and who and how she connects, it's quite spectacular. And it's such a gift to receive the channeled wisdom that comes through. She's already told me who is really coming through strongly today and now for us, but I'm gonna let her share that with you. So Kaley, if this is the first time that you've listened to her, is a heart alchemist. She's a psychic intuitive, a medium, and a healer. Her personal journey from suffering to freedom has shaped her healing abilities. After enduring lifetimes of pain and trauma, she had an emphatic realization that her suffering was not her. This breakthrough allowed her to disentangle from the force field of suffering and discover her eternal light and purpose. And with that, Kaley, welcome to the call.
Thank you so much. It's so
Hmm.
good to be here, to be back.
I want to clarify something that I was reading off your bio. Um, the history of the suffering, the history of pain, and I want to call it now the history of refinement.
Mm.
And as we're transitioning, and I feel so much compression in the field, but it's also part of our evolution, part of what's refining in the enlightenment that we're becoming. Would you say that the suffering ends, or does it take on a different quality?
Mm. In some ways, I almost feel like it takes on a different quality. And the way that I'm learning about the connection between the mind, the body, and the spirit through different embodiment practices is also suffering happens, right? And it can be real. And also then it becomes almost our state of mind. And so what we must do is really notice that with loving awareness that the plight of the human condition has kind of created this angst, this kind of fear-based picture of suffering. And so what we're really being asked to do through our healing practices is to come back to that kind of eternal place of peace and stillness and light within, so that we can see that the suffering is not ours, and so that we can reclaim the wholeness of our light. And it allows us then to be able to kind of navigate through the suffering in a different way, with just more strength and more fortitude, that's connected to more of our true eternal purpose.
Mhm.
And it's a part of the experience here, right? And it's that contrast that cracks us open and helps us remember our light. Everything, that I experienced when I was little has been an opportunity through my healing to be able to be more of who I truly am. And my human is really sad that I had to experience that, but my soul can see, can reach for a gratitude that is beyond this time and space.
Makes
Mm.
sense. So I'd love it if you share the audience how it is that you work with clients who have sessions with you or that you're leading through workshops.
Yeah, so I essentially really can kind of click in and feel a client's energy, their pain blockages, and anything and everything really can come through in terms of just past loved ones that want to support us, those energies that are on our spirit team. And then also just physical blockages or ailments can sometimes come through. And so it's really about just being very open and pure to be able to help people with their unique challenges or attachments to whatever suffering, their persona has connected with, and to be able to do that disentanglement and connect them back to their light through a pureness, through the heart space. Because I think what happens is that sometimes when we are so dedicated to our healing, we're kind of um, we're living to heal, not healing to live.
Right.
And so, what going through the heart space first does, it streamlines the process a bit. There's no bypassing here, but it's allowing the heart to lead the way with its wisdom. And so, gosh, it's just every session looks so different, but each session is so special and unique for that individual soul and that human.
My experience with the sessions that I've had with you is that you do provide this space for that amplification and that clearing
Mm,
and that remembering and understanding from that heart space. But your ability to connect and transmit energies that come from ascended masters or past loved ones, or guides that are showing up along the way, the angelics, there's an amplification of a field that provides a clear lens as to what's happening, both so
mm.
that we only cannot witness it and understand, but also for the free flow of it to create a different stream of the possibility of what it used to be.
I love that kind of description of it. And the best thing that I've been able to come up with, thanks to a dear friend, is this kind of healing tour because there's so much
Hmm.
visualization and lately a lot of light language is coming through. And so I think that my intent is to really be as open of a channel as possible so that, you know, we deserve to feel as amazing as possible
Hmm.
in this human form. And really, the better that we feel in its simplest terms, the more of our true light can shine through. And that's not just good for humanity or other people, that's also really great for us. And so, um, these healing tours are just these beautiful kind of journeys that we can go on and we don't have to spend too much time. It's almost like I can kind of draw a picture of all of these different places and spaces and times and then be able to clear what needs to be cleared and then integrate you back to the wholeness that you are.
Hmm.
And so I'm so thankful for the healing to not need to be so cumbersome, if that makes sense. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
if we're willing to let go, spirit's like, let me take this off of your hands. Let me take this for you.
What cast of characters have been showing up for you lately from the spirit world? Like who's been showing up to facilitate, anchor something in, or is it just diverse depending on
It
who's
is
with you?
so diverse. It is so diverse. I've actually been doing a ton of inner child healing, and which will come up today, especially in the special offer, which feels
Mm,
very critical for us at this time, to be able to heal that aspect of us. A lot of higher self. And then in terms of like, for example, for this session, Jeshua and his legions of angels have been coming through today very
mm,
strongly. A lot of the Pleiadians, Arcturians, the Syrians. I've been working a lot with galactic energy and actually a lot with Kuan Yin. So when you think about
mm,
just the balance of that, it's really about bringing in to this harmonic resonance the masculine and the feminine and clearing out any of the wounding that has happened in those two camps, they're saying, but really
mm,
bringing all that together. And how do we start blending those two things together in harmony, looking at it more as kind of this beautiful tapestry that works in concert with one another versus kind of opposing teams or forces.
Makes sense. Is there significance for you for auspicious dates? Again, today's 11/11. What significant, if it does have a significance, what is it and what are you tuning into? If it doesn't, um, where is it that the guides that you're connecting with are, where is it that they are leading us along the path of these peak moments that have been arising
Mm.
all over the world for us lately?
Yeah, it's almost like these beautiful these touch points, these pillars in between time that can serve. What they're saying right now is almost like just these beautiful milestones between our healing
Mm,
moments. So a lot of times when we go through healing, we we move through a process, right? And then we may have an integration period. And so what these portals or these kind of auspicious times allow for us to do is to touch on where we've come from, where we are, and what we want to call in. And that can be true for almost anything. It's really, they're saying what we decide the intent can be within a day, right? So we could create that meaning. What's so beautiful, because I truly believe in just the angelic presence and the
mm,
synchronicities of angel numbers. What's so beautiful about 1111 is when you think about when I even look at the number today, what I'm really feeling into is this kind of portal to peace.
mm,
We want to feel peace, you know, we want to feel peaceful. We want more peace to be here in this world. We want to feel more peace within. And a lot of the things that I've read about this day is a lot about manifestation. And when you think about abundance and prosperity, but what my guides are saying is almost like we must first come to peace, true deep peace within, in order to manifest all that comes from that peace in our
mm,
humanness. Because if there's any part of our humans that's toiling in doubt or fear or worry, um, it's going to be harder to manifest to the full degree that we truly desire from our soulfulness, if that makes sense. So it's like that. What I'm kind of reading into with today is it's a divine alignment for your divine assignment. And it's
mm,
this beautiful opportunity to align to peace and prosperity. It's yours. It's yours now. It's for the taking. It's available. And so it's really about us being willing to detach from the things that are keeping us from believing we're worthy of that and to really allow it to be ours
mm,
first, not putting conditions on it. Spirit saying, today's a beautiful opportunity, especially given everything that's happening, in the world and, in the US in the last couple of weeks. There's so much commotion and fear that this is really an opportunity for us to fully step into peace within. Um, and what Jeshua was kind of saying today is that he wants to take us to the river of peace within, where all things are made
mm,
manifest. So when you think about the role of this portal in manifestation and all that we desire, the springboard, the wellspring, is really this beautiful, peaceful space, spaciousness that we all must cultivate and nurture within so that everything that we emit can be charged with that peaceful frequency that's in direct alignment with all the angelic frequencies. Because the
mm,
soul, the eternal nature that we are, is peace, is unconditional love. And so the more that our human can attune to that, the higher the octave of frequency that's coming through us. And the better that we'll feel, the better we can create, the better we can commune together.
mm. Beautiful. Part of the 1111 energies that I've been tapping into and that have been very alive and present for me is and it relates to the piece that you're speaking of very deeply. And it's also having a very grounded awareness of those things that are keeping us from peace. In other words, what's the thing that's being delayed that has to get done, that's running like RAM on the computer in the background that doesn't need to be there anymore because that is something that is isolate that is it's delaying the peace that's possible. It's not that we're
Right.
suffering through it. It's not that we're being as to karmically clear things, even though that is coming in. And I love the special offer that you're bringing because it's going to help with so much of the entanglement pieces that again release into the essence of the fluidity of peace to come through. Um, So again, being constructive and aware and in peaceful relationship with those things
Mm.
also is so significant. And and you talk about people being in peace. By the way, we're going to take Q&A in a little bit. You can raise your hand, type your questions into the chat. It's one thing to say that we're supposed to be in that peace. How is it that you're guiding people to that peace? What is it that they can do to have it be more of an ongoing experience rather than something that they glimpse every once in a while?
I think the big thing that can help with that is when I started on my healing journey, I was so afraid to go into my heart space because there was so much pain there. And my practice, my process really does focus on actually beginning in the heart in a very safe and loving way. That's this beautiful portal to our
Mm,
soulfulness, to our eternal nature, that all-knowing presence. And it can guide us back home into remembering these innate ways of being how we're meant to be. And so it's almost like allowing this spaciousness for our mind to just take the break and to be
mm,
able to release. And then there's these practices of trying to be able to cultivate that spaciousness, that stillness through the heart when you're not with me, right? And so that's where sometimes, we can come up against the contrast of feeling human, and I do it every day. I mean, I'm human. As long as we're human, we can't really escape that contrast. It's there to help us. And so it's a true shift on no matter what is happening around me or even rising up inside of me, I still have this beautiful river of peace flowing through me. And
mm,
so it's returning again and again through mindfulness practices, through that loving awareness, noticing that trigger rising up and saying, wow, you're not seeing it as you anymore, and you're not applying any judgment or criticism to it anymore. It's more about being curious and being your own kind of loving inner coach that we talked about the last time. And so
mm,
really helping people to to practice that. And it truly is a practice. And it's not as glamorous as some of the other stuff. And so I think that that's what is so tough, because sometimes, for me, I'm like, man, I wish I could just press the magic button for myself or my clients. And gosh, there's so much magic in the sessions, that happen.
mm,
Wow, this is incredible what we can accomplish when we really choose to co-create in your healing. However, we can't escape the humanness. And so then it's really about using your breath practices, things that you connect with to be able to usher out the load, the toxic load they're saying
mm,
that is created through our minds, our sweet minds, create so much trouble for us. And so this is really it's not as linear of a path, but it's kind of getting knocked back off the horse and getting back up and knocked back off and getting back up. And then
mm,
all of a sudden, one day you wake up and you realize, wow, I'm no longer a victim of my reality. I am a co-creator of my existence. And I can actually invoke this magic wand here in my imagination and make all of this stuff transmute into beautiful healing light. And that's where we can start calling on our own magic. But it just takes time and practice and trust and belief.
mhm,
So a lot of people will experience a lot of the magic in a session and then they'll leave, and it might be, so then the mind starts, that can't be real. It can't be that easy. Um, that all can't be gone, and spirit's saying, yes, it can, because you decided it's so, and we came in and we made it so.
mhm. Something that's extraordinary that happens in your sessions is that there is an awareness of a connection to spirit of who you're channeling, that's guiding you in the session, that there is a vibrational shift while in the session that you
Mhm.
remember who's walking with you.
Mm.
And in that possibilities get ignited. There's an enthusiasm for it. Our heart relaxes. We feel more at peace. And it's this sustained field that is meant to remind us to that we can entrain ourselves in that field, that we can tune in to our guides and attrain to a vibrational environment that they're inviting us into as well to carry what gets so amplified in the session. But really, at the end of the day, we're being called to foster that relationship without a proxy. It exists for all of us, and flexing that muscle, being in practice, going into intimacy with the guidance with higher self or inner child. Again, it could be Yeshua, it could be the galactics.
Exactly.
It can, but, but to dive into that, that is really what creates the sustaining that it can't be interpreted from a logical place, but you know it's so true and alive in your experience.
Truly. And I think for each person, that connection is important. So it's really interesting in the sessions to kind of explore someone's history and what they're practicing in terms of what they connect with to a higher power, or if they do, right? And so there's some
Mm,
exploration there around, well, what are we calling on? What are we connecting to? What do we believe about that? What about my history has has led me to feel or believe this way about what I'm connecting to or not. And
mm,
so there's this kind of exploration that has to happen around right aligning our truth, our knowing of our hearts, of our souls, of our eternal light and nature that wants to help us and support us. And then being able to then come in and say, you know, what feels true and not true about that story that I was told, or
mm,
what feels true or not true about this new thing that I'm learning. And then weaving that through, filtering it through your heart space. The heart space is just such a beautiful master healer that wants to help you, and it's available to you. And so this is really about also not being reliant on a healer always and forever, maybe when you're going through a tough time, but being able to then call on, yourself as the master healer eventually,
mhm,
and being able to use this beautiful, healing, softening, opening heart to be able to support you. It's almost like that loving, unconditionally loving mother or father that you always wanted, or it's just the best friend that you've always wanted to be to yourself. And so what that's reminding me of, John, is perhaps sometimes when we're trying to connect outside of us, we're still searching outside of us to
mhm,
connect, even if it's outside realms or higher realms. So perhaps for many of us that might be struggling with that or wanting to explore that further, maybe it's just exploring our higher self, like you mentioned, or even some people relate to this idea of our true self that feels a
mm,
little bit more tangible, connected to humanistic psychology. Um, and so there's lots of layers there, and our history really drives a lot of how we might click into this energy. But there's this amazing, oh my gosh, it's
mhm,
so expansive and so collaborative and so available. And there's just so many types of energies and frequencies, and they're all right here. I used to have to go out there to get them, but they're here now to help us navigate these
mm.
times that we're in.
That's beautiful. And I so appreciate that searchlight going out, right? It's like we're seeking outside of ourselves. And again, the calling for me lately is that take that light that we beam out, that searchlight, and to point it into ourselves. And
Yes, and the other thing there is what I even found myself doing is, this layer of our humanness that wants everything to be productive, right? Because in some ways we have to generate, well, in many ways we have to generate some income. We have to be human here, and we want to be successfully human here. What Spirit kind of called me out on a couple weeks ago was like, Kaley, just be present for present's sake,
mm,
not to go out and get a new idea, or an insight even. Sometimes we must just be present for present's sake
Mhm.
and to give our bodies a rest for searching and striving and seeking. And so this is just a beautiful opportunity to practice that, and I mean, for me, I've been on this journey for quite some time. I've done some deep, deep healing, and I've been getting called out, in my humanness sometimes where I can get a little bit, caught by my guides, and they're saying, okay, Kaley, like, let yourself just enjoy your shower, enjoy presence for presence
Ah,
sake,
nice.
know.
Well, I mean, your mother, you're a solopreneur, you've got responsibilities, you have clients that you're taking care of, right? It's like the list piles. You're housekeeper, teacher. I mean, there's so many other things that,
There's so many
there's
roles,
so
right,
many
that we
hats
all
to wear.
carry.
You're expert student, all these different things that come through, and it's like, right, when can we take a breath? Um, but here it is, that peace that you speak of.
Mm.
It's that's a foundational ingredient in how we're creating, and how we're being called to create, from the present moment going forward. So I know that there was a transmission that came in that was channeled prior to the show. Um, I love it if we can get into that because I can feel um, the vortex of that really benefiting us right now. Y'all, we're going to get into Q&A in a little bit. So again, you want to raise your hand, type your questions into the chat box. And Kaylee's special offer is amazing. I've already signed up because I'm having a session. I'm booking that. Her sessions are second to none and so helpful. We'll get more into the special offer a little bit later, but I wanted to let you all know that that's available in case you want to go ahead and sign up now. Uh, but Kaley, is this a
Let's
good time to share?
let's do
All
it.
right, fabulous.
Okay, so I want to just invite everybody to close their eyes, and I'm going to take us all on a journey.
Mm,
And what I want you to focus on is I'm going to get you to a space where you can receive the channeled transmission that came through before the call. So you're going to focus on breathing in and breathing out in the way that I describe. And I want you to focus on this kind of opening and softening heart space that then expands like a beautiful flower out. And then I'm going to read the channeled message. It's a combination from Jeshua and his legions of angels, and then also the Council of the Higher Heart, the global heart that I work with. And so
mm,
I just invite you to experience this, allow it to take away and melt away anything and everything that wants to melt away for you tonight. It can perhaps tonight be that easy. And then we may have some humanness to do, right? And so just closing your eyes. And when I cough, I'm typically just releasing, purging energy for people. And then if I yawn, a lot of times that means that we are removing deeper layers, ancestral energy. And so just don't be surprised by that. And just I want you to breathe in. Let's breathe in peace. So when we think about today, this beautiful divine alignment for your divine assignment, closing your eyes and breathing in peace, breathing out, allowing yourself to release gently, softly, not forcefully, anything and everything that is not congruent with peace. Breathing in peace. And then allowing yourself to open that mouth and sigh out anything and everything that is not congruent with peace. I'm going to cough 3 times to help release some of the energy that I'm feeling. And I invite you to experience this in your body, however your body feels called. You may want to sway, you may want to rock, whatever that is for you, allow yourself to let it be. And I'm going to begin reading. And what I want you to do is just through your in breath, breathe in peace, breathe in your beautiful eternal light through your heart space. Imagining that you're bringing in the wholeness of your light into your beingness right here and right now. And then through each out breath, we're releasing. By the end, what we want to try to do is we want to try to be breathing in all of that peace and breathing out peace so that we're completely congruent with peace, with joy, with ease, with calm. We want to lower those cortisol levels. We want to gain coherence in the nervous system here. So you focus on that. And while I read this, don't try to over mentalize what I'm saying, just experience it through the energy. What is done in love is done in service to the global heart, the heart that beateth for us all, through us all, connecting us all at a far grander scale than you can even imagine. Breathing in and out. Trust us, trust it, that gentle, strong, present feeling that radiates within you as you connect in with this truth. As you heal your individual heart, so too you heal humanity. Breath by breath, tear by tear, heartbeat by heartbeat, until you are free of all maladies and formalities, break free, prosper, in the name of God, in the name of Source, in the name of us all. And I want you to allow yourself to continue breathing. And the message that Jesus and his angels are bringing in today is what we want you to focus on is cultivating your peace. A peace that exists and exudes despite the circumstances, despite the odds. This peace ushers in such a state of grace, of loving mercy, of compassion that returns us to the preciousness of life. Where you are wallowing, we offer to let us wash away all of the pain, the grief, the shame, the sorrow, the solitude, and to help you invite in the peaceful path. A peaceful current of your wisdom, the wisdom of the ages, to help you anchor in and reside in unconditional love. You mustn't worry about the outcome, dear children, for that simply steps you back to the fear that created this mess in the first place, continuing to breathe in that peace and breathing out. You mustn't worry so much about what this all means. Instead, we offer you this opportunity to wholeheartedly jump into this portal of divine grace and fortitude that wants to carry us forward. For if we are so focused on the come hell or high water mentality, we are keeping our light bottled in a cage of disillusionment and misery. Our energy remains split, fragmented, and not able to allow the full spectacle of light to shine to us and through us in the way that it's meant to. Breathing in that peace, I want you to imagine on each outbreath that the pain of carrying the world on your shoulders is gone. Hand us your burdens. Let us lighten your load so that you can truly, deeply, lovingly usher in the divine peace and unconditional love from your cracked wide open, loving heart. For this, my children, is the spirit we must have to set ourselves and our brother and sisters free. And so it is. And I want you to just allow yourself to bask in peace and love. Breathing in peace and breathing out, allowing yourself to feel more of yourself, to feel more connection with your deep self. Allowing peace to enter your body. In a way that you can anchor it in. And as you come back, I want you to just allow yourself to breathe in that peace, breathe out with peace, breathing in almost from the heavens, from source, from the universe, and then breathing out, grounding into Mother Earth. And then imagine this beautiful handshake, this symbiotic relationship happening with all of those realms and your beautiful vessel that holds your heart, that holds your soul. And just allowing all of that peace to move all the way up and then grounding down into the earth, feeling safe and connected. And just very slowly coming back. And just noticing through that process what rises up. You know, there may be some journaling after tonight or in our dreams, maybe some insights or clarity that might come through, but really allowing ourselves to experience and feel that deep peace in our bones. It's almost like we've been maybe like it's like we've been operating more on the fake it till we make it. Not all of us, but I'm just saying, there's just this energy where like, let's actually allow it to really anchor in there
Mhm.
deeply.
Yeah, and if y'all are feeling anything like me now, maybe you want to linger in the peacefulness as
Bask
well
in it.
and just, yeah, just swim.
And
Uh,
I want to remind you here is that Jesus, when he kind of brought this in again, and I mentioned this at the beginning, is he wants to bring us through that experience to this river of peace where all things are made manifest. And he says, let the deep peace be yours. And so that was the message that he kind of brought in to anchor that. Like let peace be yours so that it can be all of ours, right?
and it's really poignant for me that it shared, let peace be yours. Not like, hey, this is what's in the way of your peace and fix it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly the energy of it, right, John? That answers almost your question earlier, but just through that transmission and that experience of it, because that's where then our heart's like, oh my gosh, I remember what this
Mm,
feels like.
mhm.
This is what this is supposed to feel like.
And it's here. I don't
And
need
we've
to
missed
discover it
it.
under a rock. I don't need to go look at ancient archaeological sites or connect with the Palladian collective in order to discover that one message that's going to finally unlock me.
Exactly. That's all icing on the cake.
Right.
So it's like, we are we're the cake. I don't know, maybe this celebratory message is coming through where this inner child is kind of coming in and it's like we can imagine that we're celebrating our rebirth, our
Mm,
birthday today.
I love that.
Uh,
I like to say that we're the icing on the icing.
you're the
Uh,
icing. I love icing on the cake, so it's my favorite part.
Uh, this was so good, Kaley. Thank you for that transmission. And there's more, y'all. We're gonna get into more. Y'all, we're gonna get to a special offer, but not yet. We'll get there in a minute. I'm guided to go into Q&A if that's okay with you, Kaley.
Let's do it.
All right, let's start. Tara, let's start with you. Let's get you to unmute your microphone, please.
Hi, Kaley. I'm not
Hi, how
sure
are
I
you?
had my hand raised, but I went with it.
Well, it was meant to be.
Yeah, that really is something I trust now.
Mm,
Good.
So I don't know. I guess I don't know what maybe you can help me with. I get that lately I haven't had it so much, but lately I've been getting that bit of that what John says, that static in the background.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of getting a little bit choked up.
Mm,
And it doesn't it feels like maybe just something that can be released. I'm feeling this energy kind of like coming in at me here that's almost
mm,
like ugh, I just want to like kind of go like this and knock it off of me.
mm.
So I don't know. It's almost like all these are you getting a lot of like opinions from people or like the chitter
Oh, yeah,
chatter, the
sure.
noise?
Sure, always.
Okay, so
mm,
all right, if you want to, I just invite you to kind of connect in with that peace in your heart and close your eyes and kind of put your hands over your heart and just breathe in and out. And I'm gonna just help you release some of this energy through just coughing. And um, there's a little bit of light language. John, do I have a minute to kind of
absolutely, yes.
Okay, so it almost feels like there's something that's blocked in kind of the heart space and trust. And this is something that so many of us can relate to. So, all right, you just stay focused on breathing in your heart. Okay. Some people may also, if you don't, you can have both hands on your heart space, or you could have your right hand over your heart space and your left hand over your sacral chakra and just kind of tapping very gently, breathing in. And I want you to just imagine that it's almost like you can literally, through each out breath, it's just at pushing that away. Okay. And so we're just gonna, I'm seeing different, almost like saran wrap that we're just wanting to, all
Mm,
right. So What's wanting to flow through is just your divine grace and knowing, and then canceling out the noise. Okay. And that can be for all of us. We could all cancel out some of the noise. All right. So I'm going to cough and release. So this is for many, maybe many people. So whoever feels called can kind of do this. Breathing in through the heart, breathing out, releasing anything and everything where you're not trusting yourself or where the noise is too loud and you're not able to hear yourself. And allowing yourself the space to be able to listen and trust and feel what's right for you. Breathing in that light, breathing out any fear or worry or distrust or mistrust of the faculty I'm hearing. Whoosh. All right, so we're just releasing anything, the faculties of the mind. Okay, so we're just releasing anything and everything that's connected to this fear-driven mind. And then the things that people say that drive up that fear, they're like, oh yeah, that's the exact thing I needed to hear to drive up that fear and make me cancel out my trust of my heart. All right, so we're just kind of clearing that and allowing that to shake off. All right, and I'm just seeing it's like a beautiful grandmother energy coming in and holding her hands over the backs of your shoulders and just sending calm and peace and love and flow and trust and faith. Each of us might be receiving different frequencies there, but it's almost just this beautiful grandmother energy coming in and just putting her like knobbly hands over our backs and just sending in this beautiful love. And it's almost like Jesus or our grandmother energy can come in and just kiss our foreheads. And it's kind of connecting to the inner child and saying, oh, sweetie, I'm so sorry for all the pain that you have endured, and just let's start anew. Let's begin again. Trust your heart, trust your wisdom, trust your knowing. Don't worry about what they're all saying. Okay, so this is just for all of us to. So hopefully that doesn't feel so heavy. And then maybe tomorrow, I don't know what time it is for you, but just spend some time in that heart wide open, designing what you want from your heart, writing it down, getting it visually there, visualizing it, and then being able to call on that when that fear mongering or the worry comes in. Does that resonate?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Tara, blessings too. Yeah,
Thank
thanks for
you.
coming on.
Thank you, Tara.
Thank you.
Erica, if we can get you to mute your microphone, please. Welcome to the call.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I think that was for me though, too, Tara. Yeah, I'm teary. So I don't know. I just any guidance for my higher self. Oh,
I'm hearing dream a beautiful dream, little girl. So
okay.
there's something here that it's almost like you had something, this magic and wonder. We all do, but it's almost like for you, connected to this wellspring of your life force rising up in you. It's like, okay, whew, connect back to that. And I almost imagine you, do you know, so the pictures that I'm getting are almost like when you go into the ocean and you're scooping up when the tide comes up and there's these beautiful seashells and you're searching for the most beautiful ones, or if you're going mining or you're going for minerals and you're kind of digging up the gems. My words are escaping me right now because the energy is so high and beautiful, but it's like just connecting more to the magic and wonder within and connecting that to your life force. So I'm almost seeing like your energy is has a little bit of disconnection at the top and bottom half. And so it's really being able to reach down and saying, okay, I'm going to scoop you up, life force, and I'm going to connect all of my energy all the way up like a beautiful totem pole. And then just breathing in that beautiful connection and integration. And then it's just this beautiful little inner child, this little girl that just seems so excited about something, about this life that she can't wait to experience. And to know that the time is now, it's not too late, they're saying.
Good.
So there's some beautiful exploration, and I almost want you to spend time with I'm almost seeing you going through old photos, old journals, old memories, and intentionally not focusing on any of the negative. You're just mining for gems.
Okay.
Hmm.
Thank you, Kaley. Thank
You're
you, John.
welcome.
Thank
Yeah, you're
you.
welcome. Enjoy. It's have fun creating and
Thanks.
manifesting. Yes.
Yes, it is. It's just this beautiful energy. So have fun with it. We all need to have more fun.
That's really, I've been getting so much of that message
Ah,
lately, and very, very pronounced. Have more fun, more joyful. The play and the joy are really
play
important.
in the joy.
And this is so strong. And you mentioned it in in your conversation with Tara. It's like really considering yourself. So I call it selfish with a capital S. It's one of the most enlightened things that we can do, to be focused inward, to be focused about ourselves, to create that authentic expression, the time of entanglement with another's field and diminishing one another through the weight of the confusion of trying to hold somebody else's consciousness rather than your own is being lifted. And so that really, again, the focus to be playfully and joyfully selfish, not narcissistically selfish. That's a whole different energy.
Divinely selfish.
Exactly. Exactly. It's so strong. So strong. All right, y'all, we're going to get into a special offer. We're going to do one more call and we'll take some more live calls afterwards also. And of course, chat questions. But Linda, let's go to you first, and then we'll get into the offer with the readings, with the workshops that are coming up. Y'all are not going to want to miss that. Linda, what is your question?
I have the same question that the lady had before me. What does my higher self want me to do?
Do you like music?
Yes.
All right, so I'm seeing you a lot of focus on the ears. Open your ears, dear child.
Okay.
And so, have you been listening? Okay, so what your little girl wants you to do is to listen to some music that lit you up as a child, or perhaps even children's music now. Disney's a great thing, but when you think about what they want you to do is, I'm literally saying like, okay, put your hair away. And almost I see you just with like headphones and just experiencing the music. And then just seeing what that helps to release from you and activate. So there's this beautiful embodiment that's available to you if you allow yourself to experience it. So I almost am going to like certain pain points in your physicality. I'm feeling like patches of heat, in different spots and areas, like in my belly, maybe in some of my legs. And so what spirit wants you to do is connect with music and sound in a very intimate way. So perhaps inviting in, if you feel called through headphones, that might help you kind of be able to go more inward. It's not as much about an outward expression of the music for you right now as it is inward. So really being able to go and send those tones and that joy to those spaces and places within you that feel pain. Maybe physical pain, it could be emotional pain, it could be your pain body that's feeling pain. Really, it can go anywhere. So just let it do its thing. So you kind of just get out of the way and allow yourself through your breath and through just the letting go and the sound of music. There's a movie, right? So explore these things, immerse yourself into the things that brought you joy when you were little. Don't deprive yourself just because you're feeling pain and age. It's like just this loving, like let yourself be little.
Mm,
Okay.
Does that resonate?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of pain, but maybe the emotional more than anything else.
mm,
Yeah.
But otherwise I don't. No, I need to listen more because I'd like to write some more poetry. So
Yeah, so I think that creator in you wants maybe some new inspiration, but it really does feel like it wants to come up. Maybe, okay, so maybe that's really coming from getting these golden nuggets from your pain and saying, okay, that's always kind of inspiration for a beautiful poem, right? Not for you to overly attach to the pain, but kind of going in through the music and exploring those places and spaces for inspiration and then
Mhm.
seeing what beauty
Yeah,
comes.
and I would suggest, Linda, you've been on enough, and many of us know the journey of your spouse passing
Mm.
and emotional pain, that I would invite you to believe and be aware of that it's still going through your body. You're still processing the emotions and the physical pain of such a loss, regardless of what the relationship was or wasn't.
yeah, you're
Thank
right,
you,
John.
John. I
Thank
I
you.
think too that might be some of the empath pain
Mm,
that I don't know how he passed, but John, thank you for sharing that because I think I am seeing just these spots of physical pain. I don't know if maybe if you identify as being an empath that you're
I am.
so I think that there it's okay to release that and then connect in love and heart with him.
mm.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Thank you, John.
Blessings,
Thank you
Linda.
very much. Thank you, Kaley.
Thank you, Linda.
Yeah, and whenever we've had a significant relationship in our lives, and we merge so much that when someone does depart, no longer part of our lives, whether they left this plane or just distance from us. As an example, when my father passed away almost a decade ago, I know my mother and my brother and I certainly took on um, some of the shame and the guilt that he carried and that we projected. And that was, I would say that was part of our inheritance as well. But what a gift, because it was helping us to live something within that we were still carrying, that perhaps we had learned and had been imprinted for such a long time, that whose time was finally to let
Mm.
go of. So there's so many different ways in which those energies and emotions can imprint on us. And I love what you're saying, Kaley, about how sensitive we can be, how empathic, and how we can take on um, those things for other people. It's not just in the collective, but really from our heritage, from our friendships, again, from the
Yeah.
environment that we've been immersed in.
And that human part of us that doesn't want to let go. You know, there's
Hmm.
parts of me that grieve my nanny who was my mom's mom that passed several years ago, but she was like my mom. She raised me and gosh, I mean, parts of me, sometimes I have to catch myself that I don't really want to let her go in those spots that maybe feel pain, but what she wants for me, and really what all of our ancestors want is to help free us from those bondages, right? Like the
Hmm.
generational trauma. And so, in addition to a lot of this inner child healing that's been happening, is this beautiful ancestral healing and our ancestors, our past loved ones wanting to come in and say, just like Jesus and his angels did today, hand me your troubles. Hand
Hmm.
me the troubles that I gave you. You know,
Yes.
we don't want them to be a part of your makeup anymore. Let
Hmm.
us have them back so that we can heal them ourselves because we have this beautiful light up here that we can do that with now. Um, and they want us to feel free from that too. And so it's almost like the way that we heal is shifting because of the quality of the light that's coming in, that
Hmm.
healing, maybe it's almost like maybe healing, it's the right term, but maybe there's a new term emerging for it.
Beautiful. All right, Linda, thank you so much. We'll get to a little more Q&A here in just a few minutes, y'all, but I want to make sure that we have ample time to the opportunity to go deeper with Kaley in this really special offer. I'm so happy that you're offering this. Thank you for bringing it for all of us to be able to participate in. Y'all, the link for the special offer is in the chat box. It's highlighted in blue on my screen anyway. But look for the highlight in the chat box. And you can also find the same special offer page by going to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Kaley 34, Kaley 34. I'll take you to that same page. And Kaley, guide us through how everybody's going to be able to interact with you after today's call.
Great. So when I really went into the space in connection to all that wanted to come through today, this beautiful message came through of just the anointed one healing the child within with the power of Christ consciousness. So I work a lot with Christ consciousness, um, and what wants to come through for us is just this beautiful what's keeping us from our peace is some of the wounding and trauma that our little children inside of us experienced, and that can also go across lifetimes, right? And so this is really what they're saying right now is kind of making amends and being able to bring in just this beautiful healing for our inner child, and and being able to integrate that with our adult self, our now self. And what I've done with Spirit is kind of create this 4-week experience where we're going to be going through and doing this inner child healing through the energy of Christ consciousness, and being able to help honor that part of us, but also help us to be able to integrate and be able to invoke feelings of more joy and play and ease and magic and wonder and all the things that our little us knew so well how to do before we were told we couldn't anymore, right? For whatever
Mm.
reason that was. And so this experience is going to be my healing tours each week. So weeks 1, 2, and 3 are going to be just different parts of the process. Week 1 is about opening the invocation and priming our vessels through intention setting. And then I'm also going to bring through and breathe through a healing. Week 2 is all about the inner child and integration with the now self. And then week 3 is really honoring the reborn and whole self, holding and casting our light into the world. So it's really bringing you through this arc of being able to witness the healed child, integrate it with the now self, and then to be able to anchor it in so that we can bring it into form. With that, with package A, with the group experience, I've also included a month of my soul membership Haven, which is essentially weekly touch points and access to these healings. And so I channel it each week. It's through a Mighty Network app that you will get access to. And there's 3 live streams a month that I come on to. And then we have once a month a group Zoom call to be able to do, more one-on-one intimate connection and also oracle card readings. So
Fine.
yeah, it's just I'm finding that a lot of people who are doing the sessions with me need more frequent touch points. So this really offers this kind of holistic experience of this higher octave of energy and what wants to come through. And then
So
oh, go
cool.
ahead.
No, I was going to say that's so cool. I love that you're providing those touch points. And again, we talked about earlier, amplifying the field, holding that resonant frequency on a more consistent basis. And that helps with the embodiment. It helps with the reminder we had access to. And again, it keeps us in attune with the remembrance of who else is walking along with us, which is, yes, the people live on the under group calls, people that are showing up here on Beyond the Ordinary, but your guides, the angel, the ascended masters, the cosmic beings that are here really supporting the activation and the living of our potentiality in the most beautiful way.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's really about bridging the magical or the divine with the practical. I think that I really like to bridge that, especially in the membership, because that goes back to John, how you said, how do we actually usher in peace? And it is through connecting with that and allowing ourselves to release what's keeping us from peace, or being able to experience that, but then also being able to cultivate rituals and routines that help support our beingness, our beingness
Mhm.
to be in peace.
So this is package A, y'all. Again, they're live weekly calls. with week 4 being a celebration, Q&A, and oracle card readings.
Mhm.
And you can read about the arcs there. It's amazing. And of course, if you miss one of the live calls, it's recorded, so you'll be able to go back and listen to the replays. And then, y'all, there's also an opportunity to have a personal 60-minute session with Kaley. Kaley, what do you cover in your sessions?
Oh my gosh, so much ground. And it really does just come down to what you specifically need and what you're craving. So we'll go through a full Akashic healing tour. We'll clear, we'll balance. We're going to activate and connect you to more of your light. And I love the combination of these two things together because with the group experience, we're going to be really focused on this inner child healing. And then what do we want to create with that beautiful gift from that place? And so the one-on-one session can really help us start to step into our mastery as more of a whole healed self and to be able to um, start dreaming what we want to bring with that energy, with that new energy.
Yeah. I can share with y'all, when was our last session? July, maybe?
Yeah.
It was something like that. Y'all, what Kaley was reading into the field, um, what she saw as threads that were very much alive in my timeline. Um, and the energy and the facilitation she brought to bring peace and fluidity to what is eventually transpiring. Was so accurate and
Mm.
so beneficial, and the connection to spirit that came through was so tender and vulnerable for me.
Mm.
um it was extraordinary, and in that tenderness and the vulnerability, like something in my heart expanded even further, something even more became available. The clarity through that stream of light became brighter. It's really extraordinary. So again, I'm happy for all of y'all who are choosing to dive into a special offer and a personal session. Um, I would encourage all of you to, if you have an opportunity to. Um, and Kaley, thank you for bringing this and the special offer together for BTO. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love working with the BTO audience too. We get to go to so many
Mhm.
fun places, so expansive, so deep. So I'm just so grateful. I mean, they're fun sessions, even though
Mhm.
sometimes we're working through some pretty deep stuff. It's just that willingness to go there, and I love helping people go deep so that we can unearth our light, you know?
I like to say this BTO audience really knows how to spiritually party.
Yeah.
I like to go in and
You're
amplify
right.
the field for each other. It's like where else can we go and where can we explore? And it's I typically find that we're not like shallow diving and hitting the same spots over and over through this community. It tends to expand and amplify and go into what else is possible. So to be in a group setting, and what's being curated here,
Mm.
is extraordinary. And again, the one-on-one, the 60 minutes of Kaylee, so much is covered, and I do want to suggest that if y'all have your special and you do the personal session, give yourself not just the 60 minutes, but some time afterwards also to allow the peacefulness, maybe the tenderness to unfold after you finish your call, and to have a little nurture time, if not a lot of nurturance time afterwards, because you will be swimming in a vibrational tone that is there to amplify and ignite and to disentangle. Um, and so allowing an environment that supports that would be beautiful after your session. Um,
A
so
lot of people say they have to take a nap a little bit later after the session.
there you
So it
go.
is good to have a little spaciousness in your day that
Mhm.
day. So
So y'all, the special offers, package A is $147. There's a two payment option. It's almost half off of what Kaylee would typically charge for this. And then package B with the 1 hour session plus package A, it's valued at $620 and it's $247 with a 2 payment option as well. And Kaley's pretty generous over calendar. So I think you'll be able to find some bookings fairly quickly if you book soon. So again, I hope you all take advantage of it. The link again for the special offer is in the chat box. If you're watching this on the replay or perhaps on YouTube, you can always access the special offers by going to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/marketplace. And in the marketplace, you'll see Kaley's picture in the special offer link, and you can click on it there as well. And with that, Kaley, can we open up to some more Q&A?
We can. I did want to clarify one thing. I think that was a question last time around the group sessions. So I think with dates attached, sometimes people worry that they're not going to get the full experience if they can't join live. But the recordings, like you said, will be available. And so if you're not available on those specific dates, you will still be able to experience the full transmissions through the recording. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that in case it's a busy time of year. So you'll be able to listen to them and experience them on your own time as well.
Beautiful. I want to go to Q&A, but I'm curious, is there something that's coming through that wants to be shared, Kaley, before we go into the questions? Maybe I'm just projecting, but it's better to ask.
Yeah, I feel like this next one, I don't know, I'm hearing the words trust, follow, lead. There's these words where it's like trust your intuition, follow your heart, and then lead yourself to peace too. So there's this beautiful energy around just, gosh, experiencing that more. And I am feeling a little bit of kind of like light language. So I don't know who's going to be called on next, but it's kind of up here in my back.
Well, and just to add to that from a very practical standpoint, when we're trusting, we're relaxing, we're at peace. When we're at peace, we're more open to play or adventure or the unknown. We're not so confined that we're trying just to hold the space in the corner so that we can just get through whatever's coming through. And then we're really able to lead in a whole different way that doesn't come. We're not leading because we're trying to prevent someone from their own suffering. We're leading because we're amplifying that unknown possibility that we have yet to explore.
Exactly. We're modeling, just like parents model for their children or managers model for their employees. We're modeling, and they're saying, it's a high order charge. We're change agents. And so that goes back to that being divinely selfish and lovingly aware that our energy has great impact. And that we have the ability as we heal our individual hearts to impact humanity, the collective. And that's a big, important job, and so there is really this higher order of things that comes into play. And sometimes I almost feel like, we can quickly, then the mind can jump in or the ego can jump in and say, well, it sounds great in theory or concept, but all of these things that I've experienced, I just know that I'm not going to be able to have that, or feel that. And so for anybody who might be on that side, I was there and I didn't believe it for a long time, but something kept me going, and I've healed from so much trauma and wounding from my childhood that I'm living a dream I never thought possible for myself. And so I think that's the other piece, is like it's easy to talk about in concept, but when your body's actually the one moving through it, it can feel quite clunky. And we all have those moments. So just really also knowing who your support team is here, and calling on help, asking for help, trusting that wise action that heart tells you to go to. So.
Well, even as you're speaking about this, Kaley, this really reminds me of the journey of being a parent, which for me, it's the greatest experience of my life. And rewarding, rich, loving, challenging, confusing. I didn't know what the hell I was doing
Oh
most
my
of the
gosh.
time, but we show up in presence and we try to plan as best we can. So what is it? Prepare for the worst, but plan for the best.
Yes.
Right? And isn't that
Yes.
what we eventually wind up doing as parents as well? And there's so much joy, there's playfulness, there's adventure, there's an unfolding in the unknown. And there's some hard times. It's challenging. It can be taxing. It is stretching us. It is contracting us. But I can't imagine that you would want to give up all of that experience for the
Right.
sake of not having to feel,
Right.
for the sake of escaping something so that everything could be perfect in your mind, but really kind of blunt and boring in life. And
Right. It's because when spirit in that channeling says the full spectacle of our light, of the light wants to
mhm,
be shared, it wants to be known, it wants to be seen. And if we're operating from more of this kind of limited mindscape,
with
um,
control, it's not even limited.
it
It's
is
it's trying to
control.
control. Yeah.
It's control, and that's fear-based, right?
Mhm,
So what what really wants to happen is for us to just kind of again wash away that energy and to be able
mhm,
to step into the truth of our light, the truth of our heart, and to be able to let that guide us, to let that lead us, to allow it to show us the way,
mhm,
this beautiful divine unfoldment of our journey and our path. And there's more enjoyment of the journey to be had in each present moment as we align ourselves to peace, to stillness, to joy in the present moment,
mhm,
releasing control of the outcome,
mhm,
releasing the need to know what's going to come of everything, and really being in that beautiful radical acceptance that we are here now. And it's interesting because when we're living in that control, what spirit shows me, it's almost like someone running outside of us, our energy's running outside of us, or if we're living in the past, our energy's back here, and then our energy gets fragmented, right? It's split. And so then our ability to respond to the stimuli coming at us or rising up within us is is not they're saying it's inadequate because
mhm,
it's not whole. We're not meeting that with our full presence and being able to take wise action from a place of true intuitive guidance. And so there's this heart's way that wants to emerge for each of us to be able to make life as easy as it can be.
mhm,
Because we all know life can be really hard and there's hard things that happen here. And so it's not looking at everything through these kind of rose-colored glasses, um, but it's meeting the fog with this rosy heart, you know? So it's like,
mhm,
it's kind of stripping ourselves from these judgments that we have on that kind of positive mindset and saying, wait a second, I can be both very realistic about what can happen here. And then I can also meet that with this beautiful open heart that wants to guide my way
mhm,
and allow me to experience the full range of my emotionality and this body that I've been given. And that goes back to the preciousness of this life, how precious we all are. I mean, it really is so precious, and the preciousness of our children. And by the way, the children that we were,
right.
like our
Yes.
cute, sweet cheeks smiling up at our caregivers, just wanting more love or more whatever that is, or give me more candy. It's like whatever that sweetness that we want when we're little. And it's like we now can actually reparent ourselves in a way that can call on that divine nectar of life that wants to give us the sweetness of life, the
Mm,
preciousness of life, return it to our hearts so that we can live from that place.
mm. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Kaley. All right, let's go to a little more Q&A. We've got Lisa on the call with us. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Lisa, can you find your button to unmute
Here
your
it is.
microphone?
I
There you are.
found it. Well, I jumped in not from the beginning, and well, I'm just interested in if there would be any guidance. I feel like I've had such a roller coaster life, and I feel like I really did separate myself from some dysfunctionality, and I was able to raise my daughter and break the cycle of that family dysfunction.
Bravo.
And I feel like I'm finally being rewarded in my new relationship and some of the privileges that I have. And so I've really been taking the time to explore the idea of developing my psychic abilities and possibly sharing music in a sound bath kind of way, but I'm not sure. But I'm working with it, not knowing if it will really come to pass or if these psychic things will come to pass. And there's just so many avenues to spend your time on. And when
Yeah.
I'm doing some of these practices, like I'm not getting messages, I'm not getting things like that. So I wonder, well, am I on the right track or on the wrong track? And how do we really discern where I should be spending or one would spend their time? So if you have any insight, I'd be grateful.
Yeah, I'd love to. And I thank you for sharing that because it really
Mhm.
does remind me of that point in the journey where, wow, we've come from so much pain and we can see the light, right? And we're there and we're following it and but it feels a little bit like, okay, I'm orienting myself and what is my thing? What are my things? What am I going to do with all of this? And when you were first talking, and this, I don't know if this is for you or someone else, but is there anything that is weighing heavy on your heart right now?
Well, two things. One is I'm developing a property and we've run out of money, and part of my vision is to be able to complete my property
Yeah.
as I do things for myself. So how do I bring in money? And then the second thing is my mother, who has dementia and
Mm,
cognitive decline, and she's very angry, and she was the nicest woman ever. And
Mhm.
she's really angry at her daughters, and it's really hard because she's really not our mom anymore. And
yeah.
we're doing all we can for her, but she's suffering, and you
Oh,
can't reason with her. And so I think I have maybe two tracks of, and then it brings up family stuff with the sisters and us all, working together to help my mother. So
yeah. And I'm just too, so that's exactly, so they're
yeah,
saying weighing heavy on your heart. So
yeah.
there's, I think that there's a lot of energy here that I would love to, I think we could work deeper together on this, but so I'm releasing some energy here. They're saying the world is your oyster. Okay, so like you can basically have whatever you want. And they're saying that with kind of love, like you are the director of your destiny and you will be able to create. So yes, it can be yours, those questions that you were asking. What they're saying now is like, it's like, okay, first you must bring this in and kind of deal with this heaviness head on, and kind of face it in a very loving way so that you can have less confusion around what's calling you. And so it's really allowing these kind of dueling, um, I'm gonna call them forces because they kind of feel like that right now, right? It's this emerging self, this desire, this interest in expanding your psychic abilities, which yes, you have them, right? But then when we have this kind of worry or this kind of experience of the humanness, it can sometimes confuse things. So I kind of see things getting then a little bit muddled up. So just go slow, go at the pace that you need to go, trust. And I think that there's some room for error, they're saying, to make. So you're going to be trying a lot of things, and some things are not going to work, and some things are. And so you have to allow for this space for experimentation.
Mhm.
And there's going to be things that don't work and things that do. I'm going to say that again because it's like as part of this process, we're kind of relearning our gifts, our God-given talents, our innate abilities, and really being able to step more into that creator self. But with that, we're going to try things. You're going to try things that are like, oh man, that didn't feel good, but maybe I liked that starting place. And so, wow, what if I started there? And then I wove that in with this sound healing experience. And for me, for my journey, it was kind of like these bridges that I was building that then eventually led me to my home of what I'm doing now that feels so resonant, that lights me up more than I could have ever imagined. You know, that little self, that little me knew I had this in me, and to find it, and you're going to feel that resonance. And there's a way that you might feel it in your body. So, for example, and we may all want to learn this about ourselves, a holy hell yes is where something kind of lights us up,
Mm.
and we know it. And then a no is something that feels maybe a little bit weightier. For me, that kind of drives down my back. And the yes kind of comes up and it feels really expansive. And so you'll start using your body as kind of a barometer to be able to tell you the yeses and the nos. So it's really about just trial and error. And I say error, but it's like make it fun and just don't expect perfection, they're saying. Don't
Mm.
expect perfection. I'm a recovering perfectionist myself. And if, you know, there's still some tones of that in the way that I mother or I try to mother, and I'm really trying to break that. But in my spiritual practice, in the way that I've built my business, I've really let a lot of that go. So I just encourage you, the property, I just feel like you kind of, I want you to have like a day of self-care
Mm.
Mhm.
where you just almost let yourself stop worrying about, stop fretting. Somebody's coming in and saying, I don't know if like it's a grandmother or somebody saying, don't stop fretting. Give yourself a day of rest and get back on the saddle.
Mhm. All
Did
right.
you ride horses or anything?
I did as a child. We rode horses a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's like maybe you could go ride a horse. There's just is there spaciousness for you? Wow. Okay, it's not all mine to solve. I can't
Mhm.
control all this. So a little
Mhm.
bit of what John and I were saying, I think was a little bit leading into some of this for you and
Mhm.
all of us as beautiful reminders because we're so human.
Mhm. Thank you very much.
And
Yes.
you have
Mm.
it. The world is your oyster. So focus on that and trust.
All right. Thank you very
Beautiful.
much.
So, Lisa, I have a question for you, and it's I have this
Sure.
question of everyone who's saying that they want to channel, they want to activate or get more in tune with
Mhm.
their psychic abilities.
Mhm.
And my question for you is why?
So that's a good question.
I know it's why I asked
Yeah.
it.
So I I I've surrounded myself around people who are sensitive in this way, so I've been open to it from my undergraduate days, but I didn't really go down that practicing path. And I went to actually a sound healing kind of event, and the person there, the medium there, told me that I'm supposed to be doing all of this work. And so I thought, okay, this is a wake up. Maybe I better learn how this works. And is
Mm.
this really a possibility? Is this where I'm supposed to be? Because I was searching now that I'm retiring. You know, can I make money in service to something? What would that be? Um, I don't really need money unless I want to achieve some of my goals. Then I do need money, but just to have my life, I don't need it. So I'm trying to think, well, maybe these goals are false goals and I should just live my life and forget about it. But I felt like if I could be in service in that way, and I know because of my healing journey, I've always been somebody people sought out. They wanted to talk to me and seek me out for advice or whatever. So I think I may have a gift there, but I'm not sure. I know I have a gift doing my professional work too, and I I surprisingly picked up a client, even though I'm retired. But there's, I don't know where I should be focusing, but I am trying to focus on the things that are bringing me joy at the moment. And so that's the exploration that I think you suggested for me.
And thank
Yeah.
you for saying that last part.
Mhm.
It's again living from joy, that playfulness, the why, what inspired that spark. It's like, I think I want to explore this. Even the joy of wanting to help other people, not because other people need to be saved,
Mhm.
but the joy, the connection, that amplification. We're shifting again. We're it's like we're crossing into this wormhole that it's stable, that we can cross through, and our reasons why to go through the threshold is what's holding the stability of that together. If we're still approaching it from a place, well, it's my job to fix other people because they don't know how to fix themselves, or I don't want to see other people suffer in the way that I have, from an empathic rather than a compassionate standpoint, the field doesn't hold as steady as it can during this refinement. Empathy, if you can feel something, but then you take it on, it's like you kind of want to relieve the feeling because you don't like it. So it's like, it's not really, yes, you're serving the other person, but we have to go through the experience ourselves first. But then if you're holding it with compassion, you have the understanding, and you know that if you could make it through, that you carry the light for other people to see the spark at the end of the tunnel. That's amazing. How encouraging is that? How it's like teaching a 5-year-old how to ride a two-wheeler, and they're bouncing and wiggling all around, but they finally get going. It's like, I knew they can do it. And it's amazing. So again, long story to just energetically transmit um, the amplification of your why and joy, to get back to the root of that, because someone saw you and said, you're a sound healer, you need to be doing this. I would tell you that it was your inner child and that whole self that says, you know what, there's something to this that makes me come alive and I want to explore this.
Mhm.
And how
Yeah.
wonderful. How wonderful. Allow that to alchemize you.
Mhm.
It's right there. And getting to the root of the truth of that, it's going to set you free, and it's going to set you free from everything that doesn't belong to you or that's not supposed to be on your path. And will the ego die needing to let go of some of those things? I don't know if it'll die, but it'll have a reframe as to new standards that it can live by. And how amazing is that?
It's beautiful.
I do have an imagination of different ways that I can be of service, just small ways, with my harp. Um, but I can do other things too. So it's like, or I could do nothing and just be. Is what I think. So and if I was developing that classic psychic ability or channeling or any of those things, I'm going to find different people's packages and trying things, but I'm not
Amazing.
really feeling like I'm quite there yet. So yeah.
And Lisa, I think, do you have almost like a whiteboard or some sort of visual of all of these interests? Because I almost want you to kind of
Mhm.
word map it. And I want
Mhm.
you to then say, because what John's saying is right. Like, to me, I see these seeds. You've always been connected to this kind of energy, and there is something calling you. And then also you can apply your will to say, what
Mhm.
sounds fun? You know, if you're in this beautiful place where it's almost like spirit wants you to have spaciousness to be for a while so that you can move through some of these heavier things, and then just let it reveal itself. Because if you follow that golden thread, those golden nuggets, those intuitive nudges, I accidentally created a business from that lights me up more than I could have ever imagined. And so for you,
Mhm.
it's less worrying about which direction and just starting from a place and then intuiting from that space. What sounds fun feels like a really great question for you is what maybe mapping everything out on a whiteboard. So there's harp and there's, crystal singing bowls, and I'm really interested in channeling. And then maybe out of those things, what's that first thing that just sounds so fun?
Mm.
And if
And
none of
and
it,
I was gonna say allow making money to be fun also, by the way. I'm just throwing that
yes,
out there.
yes, it can be so fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. It is fun. It is fun to feel the abundance of not having to count pennies, which was one part of my life. And I'm very proud that I was able to do it and be a single mom and make that happen. So
It's
yeah.
amazing. And they want you to enjoy the spaciousness in between. So really kind of checking yourself. And John, I think that question why is so critical, because it's like, okay, am I doing this because I feel like I need to find, you know, it's that springboard to say, is money driving me? Is productivity driving me? What is driving
Is
me?
fear driving me?
Yeah.
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 Or is excitement driving me? Oh my gosh, I'm in this place and it's beautiful to not have to worry about money right now, and I can create from my heart.
Mhm. Yeah.
Blessings to you, Lisa.
Thank you very much. I
Yeah,
really
yeah.
appreciate your
Thank
attention.
you. It's
Thank you.
wonderful to meet you. Um,
Lisa.
Kelly, can we take another caller before we end tonight's call?
Yeah, sure.
All right, we're gonna take another caller, y'all. But April, put the link for the special offer in the chat box. I want to make sure everybody has access to that. Y'all get a session with Kaley. It's absolutely amazing. The workshop and the group dynamics, 4 workshops, all live. The recordings go on, and this is all happening in December, by the way. So how perfect
Mm.
to be with the inner child in that place, to bring in fun to the inner child and curiosity and awe during the holidays in new ways. Love the timing of that. So again, the link for the special offers in the chat box, y'all click on that. We'll send the replay link out a little bit later this evening as well. So you can come back and tune back into the transmissions and the channel guidance and the beautiful conversations. And with that, Lara, I wanted to take your call tonight. You'll please unmute your microphone.
Thank you so much, John.
Mhm.
Hi, Kaley. I'm Laura.
Hi, how are
Um,
you?
calling on me, and the whole time you were speaking with Lisa, all I was thinking is she was right. The premonition that you had beforehand, I don't remember the other words, but you said trust your instinct was one of them, and it was like, oh yeah, trust your instinct. That out. So my question is, I've been doing a lot of work in therapy, with healing my inner child. And the thing that's coming up the most, and I've been told this by other light workers too, is that it's anger.
Mm.
This deep, deep anger from multiple lifetimes. And my question is, how can I work through this and transmute it best? Because I'm doing EMDR and therapy, I'm listening to basically everything I can, speakers, light workers, um, and also I was raised Catholic, and I had religion shoved down my throat, and Catholicism did a lot to my family, negative things, and because of that, like when you were saying Jesus, I was like, ugh. So like I still have a lot of anger around that as well, and I don't want to, I know
Yeah.
Jesus is some cool hippie guy, like I don't want to have anger around that. So I would like to know what you suggest on that, but I also have to say, John, that I want to learn everything that I can right now, including channeling, because we are ascending to the 5th dimension, and we are here to help the
Mm.
earth ascend and get to the new earth and help people get there. And I want to do my part.
Beautiful.
That is so beautiful.
Okay.
Mother Earth thanks you too, because she's so tired of holding the suffering. So there's just a lot there in terms of just her really honoring everybody who's here doing the work. And there's several things popping up for me as you speak. And I feel like I want to touch on the anger, because I had a lot of anger and resentment from my experience, and I too, my mom's side I was raised Catholic, and through my childhood experience, I went a long time not believing in anything. And through my healing and connecting with these energies, and I had some of the same feelings for a while there, but gosh, getting through that that process. I'm just so proud of you for being aware of that and being willing to look at that. And I would just ask, you could say, Jesus, Jeshua, like, show me the way to you that works for me through my opening heart. So you can actually invoke him in a way, but I want you to make it gentle. I want you to make it feel resonant with me. Show me the way to you, and whatever feels good there. And why that's important, okay, is because when you re-listen to this replay, I want you to listen to it again, and I want you to go through that process, knowing that that kind of feeling rose up in you. I want you to anchor into a more kind of like that open, peaceful heart. Do the process again, listen to his words. And with the anger, what you want to do is you actually want to kind of gather it all up, and you want to bring it through your heart space, and you want to let it all out. So this can look like literally screaming safely in like your parked car with the air conditioning on in all safe conditions, but finding ways, screaming into a pillow, going into a forest and screaming until you cannot scream anymore. There is this somatic release of anger that is so good for us to let out. And so I would recommend, if you do feel called, I help people process this through the heart space, because the heart space is this master healer. And if you bring it up through there, you can kind of get to that anger turning into more sacred rage that then turns into wise action. So anger is this beautiful emotion that we have available to us to tell us when we've been wronged, when a boundary has been crossed. But when so much anger kind of gets compacted, much like, our bowels might get compacted, it can create a lot of that tension and that resentment and just that charge, right? And so what we want to do is we want to get to that place where we can meet our anger with neutrality through the heart space. Bring that peace into it, shine a light on that anger. What is this anger telling me? What's that wise action that I can take from this anger? But we first must truly, through an open, healing heart, with loving awareness and compassion and mercy and grace, somatically release the anger. So I think that somatic experience is going to be really helpful for you, and just to make sure that you follow your intuition on what feels the safest and who feels the safest to do that with.
Yeah,
There's so much. Oh, go ahead, John.
there's a lot to this. I love what Kaylee's bringing through, and I have to share with you one of the most profound experiences, cathartic releases that I've ever had was when rage was allowed to fully erupt through me in a way that I had never experienced it before. And sometimes we have to prepare ourselves a little bit of a time for that to happen. We don't just decide sometimes. But there are catalysts that are propelling these very beneficial energies to arise through us so they can be alchemized in a place of being of service, rather than from a place of service that's holding us down to a place that we feel like we're suffocating. They're always being of service is how we're listening to it and how are we having relationship with it. And are we really ready to be face to face with that caged dragon that we're afraid that we don't know what it's going to do or what we'll do with it if it finally arises. And it's by being witnessed and held and guided by someone who can hold the enormity of that energy, whether it be your guides, ascended masters, ancestors, or someone like Kaley, or someone who has gone through their own experience and can have compassion and the strength to hold the space. It's powerful what can come through. So the full release is really, it's important. And again, the release does happen to the heart, believe it or not. But it needs to go all through. Again, we need to be allowed to feel it rise all the way through the body.
It's all the way through. What I'm seeing too is that the Kali energy could be really powerful to work with. So she's, a goddess energy that you can work with. And then also really allowing yourself to be in that spaciousness, to what John's saying is truly be ready. And what's wanting to come through, I'm almost seeing this kind of Shakti energy wanting to rise up, that Kundalini rising. So it's actually really interesting what they're showing me. What happens is the repressed anger can kind of kind of push that down. And then the tailbone energy, it's interesting because it's almost like a clearing wants to happen for you there, where then that energy can rise up and out, and the Kundalini can start rising up to help you like stand taller and stronger. And I'm just feeling this like beautiful activation
And it's
possibility.
a lot to do on the short answer here on the call,
Yeah,
Laura,
it
but
is.
Yeah.
but for me, the important thing also is that the seeds and the energy of it are there, and that you can feel the authenticity in which this is being spoken in to provide more confidence, and hope is a big word, and the hope for that to come alive again. Like, wow, that there is another side of this, because for so many, hope is something that it's so far down the line of what we believe that we can have, and to bring that more towards the forefront, and letting the truth of that hope guide us. It's quite beautiful. So blessings to you, Lara. Thank you so much. And I'm excited for your journey.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
It's funny you say that too, because I've wanted to go out into the woods. I have woods behind my house and just scream,
Do it.
like,
Do it.
what will the neighbors think? Someone's going to call the
Let
cops because they think
let them
someone.
let them call the cops. So what?
Call,
Let the neighbors
text
think.
them, write them a letter and say, listen,
I'm
I've
going to
been
be out
feeling,
here.
yeah, I really think those are those intuitive nudges that it's like sometimes my mind will cancel it out. I'm like, wait, no, that was really good. Just go do that. And
Mhm.
not everything's going to make good logical sense, right? It's like following the heart is sometimes following the illogical, the magical, the mysterious, the unknown, the leaps of faiths, all of that beauty that awaits you as you allow yourself to let go of that anger. So I'm sending you lots of love and just follow your guidance.
All right, blessings, Laura.
You blessings. Thank you both.
Kaley, amazing call as always. Again, your special offer is epic. I'm looking forward to my session. I think it's booked for like 10 days from now. So
Yay! I'm so
good
excited. I
give
can't
myself
wait.
extra time. Y'all, the link for the special offer is in the chat box again. If not, again, you can find it on the website. Kaley, happy the rest of 11/11. Thanks
Oh my
for
gosh, you
bringing this
too.
energy. Yeah.
I know. Just sending lots of love to everyone. And thank you so much for having me, John. I just love this community, and I'm just sending everyone so much beautiful peace and love.
Beautiful piece, everybody. Love you guys. Namaste. I look forward to seeing you all on the next call. Have a great
Namaste.
evening.
Bye.